Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about the rally, the pro-Christian rally that went on in Dearborn, Michigan. So I was watching the coverage of the Dearborn pro-Christian rally this evening, and I must say I was a bit disappointed for the lack of turnout for the event. It was hyped up as being something that was going to be like 30 to 50,000. I really don't know much about Jake Lang other than what I'd read up on from last night and again this morning. From what I gather, so he's an agitator trying to gain controversial coverage, that things we all care about, but he does so in a provocative manner to get a rise in reaction from those that he's opposing. I don't like his methods or his style, even though the message is based and factual. So it was Jake Lang and Pastor Lorenzo Sewell that organized today's event, and it looks like the media hype around any bikers coming to it directly from Sturgis was just rumor, and it was a couple different people on the various outlets that were doing it just for clicks and media hype. The turnout was much smaller than I thought it would be, but it was ranged probably, from what I could tell, roughly between 400 to 600 in total. It may have been less, but that's just what I gathered. There was a handful of Muslim protesters that showed up in the mix in the crowd, but nothing I was aware of that caused any disruptions to note. There was some arguments back and forth, but I don't think anybody got arrested or anything. It's possible they did, but it just wasn't anything that I saw when I was watching the coverage. So people started gathering around the City Hall grounds in the afternoon, and Jake eventually showed up, I think probably around 5 p.m. or so. I wasn't really keeping track of the time, but after about an hour of him speaking with a megaphone up there in front of City Hall, they allowed a small group to come inside to speak to city officials for a public comment session about their concerns. So Jake, as well as a few others, had spoken. I didn't watch it all, so I can't tell you who all was up there and what they said, but it wasn't a very lengthy session. So Jake Lang and a few others, they said their piece, and then the rally continued outdoors into the night. And I believe around probably by 9 p.m. the crowd pretty much dispersed without any noticeable incident. The event was pretty much a nothing burger. It looks like Jake Lang just isn't as influential as he'd like to be. I think the majority of the people that did show up were there for their concerns for the city, and more so than knowing or supporting Jake Lang himself. For some time, Dearborn has been the center for Muslim expansion in the U.S. and will continue to be the focal point with the growing concerns about Islamification of our nation. Islam's Sharia law and our United States Constitution conflict more so than they align. So at some point down the road, this pimple will fester. It'll fester to a head, and it'll need popped. All we can do is stay true to our Christian values and remain strong in our faith, and we will not budge and allow this evil infiltration ruin our nation. I think there's just way too many Christians that care too much about our country to see it fall into Muslim hands and just get destroyed as all their nations are. You can just see just how backwards they are and how everyone just loses their rights and freedoms. So I definitely don't want that. I'm sure you don't either. So that's a wrap. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and until next time.